Hello. In this video, we're going to be working on writing the equation for a circle. And so over here I have a circle, and you can see that it has a center at the ordered pair 4, negative 4. And we can also see that it has a radius. If I just measure straight up here, we can count 1, 2, 3 boxes here. It has a radius of 3. So we can use that information to help us write the equation for the circle. Now, what I need to do is pick some point on the circle that's representative of all the points. And I'll call this x, comma, y. Now, because this circle has a radius of 3, the distance from the center to that point should be 3. And no matter where I pick x, comma, y, the distance to that point should be 3 units. And so I choose x, comma, y instead of a point that I know because there are many, many points on this line. I don't know all of their ordered pairs, but they are of the form x, comma, y. So knowing what we know, what we can do to help ourselves write the equation for this is use the distance formula. And if you remember what the distance formula is, d is equal to, d the distance is the big square root of x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. And I can input the things that I know about this segment right here that I've just outlined in red. And so we have endpoints of 4, negative 4 and an endpoint of x, comma, y. And then my distance is 3. So let's input that information. So we have 3 equals, we have the big square root, x2 minus x1, I'll take x minus 4 squared, plus, and I'll do the y's, y minus negative 4 squared. Now to simplify this up a bit, I'll take both sides and square them. Squares and square roots are opposite, so they should cancel. We have this 3 squared, which is 9, x minus 4 quantity squared, plus, and then minus the negative would make it a plus, so y plus 4 quantity squared. And this should be enough. That can be the equation for my circle. If I pick any x, comma, y on this circle and I plug it in there, if I take the x minus 4 squared plus the y plus 4 squared, we end up with 9. I can prove this to you by picking some points that we know. For instance, we remember that we knew this point right here, negative 1 for the y value and 4 for the x, so 4, negative 1. If I put in, so we're going to see that 9 equals, my x is 4, so 4 minus 4 squared, plus, and then negative 1 plus 4 squared. So 9 would equal 4 minus 4 is 0 squared. I'll put that in parentheses still. Plus negative 1 plus 4 is 3 squared. 0 squared is 0. 3 squared is 9, and 0 plus 9 is, of course, 9. So that does indeed work. And like I said, it would work for any point. So let's look at an example where we don't know a ton of numbers. In this problem, the directions haven't changed. We're still asked to write the equation of the circle. But as we said, or as I said before, we don't know any of these numbers. Nothing's labeled. We don't know the scale, if this goes by 1s, 2s, 5s, whatever. And we don't necessarily know what the center is for sure. We don't know what the radius is for sure. But we can still come up with some sort of equation. And what we traditionally do for a center, we're going to call that point h, k. And I'll still pick some point on the circle and call it x, y. X, y is indeed on the circle itself. And so any x, y value, I can put that point anywhere on the circle and it'll be x, y. And the distance from the center to that point is going to be my radius r. So if we continue to use the distance formula, and here it was again, let's just start plugging things in. Again, we know we have points h comma k and x comma y, and then the radius, or I guess in this case it would be the distance, is r. So we'll replace d with r, equals square root of, we'll subtract our x's, x minus the h squared, plus, let's subtract the y's, y minus k squared. And I'll clean this up just a bit by squaring both sides. So r squared is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. So this actually gives us a pretty big formula. This is the equation for a circle. And right here is the equation written out with the information that follows. So we have a center at h comma k and some radius r. The equation for our circle is quantity x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals our radius squared. We're going to use this equation in class to help us graph circles and write equations for the graphs of circles. So make sure you get that into your notes. For now, we are done.